Hey everyone, it's Chad in 5BMU, and welcome to the world of ham radio, the video series where I show you how fun our world can be. Throughout this series, I have been demonstrating some of the facets of ham radio and how they apply to our everyday life. In future videos, I hope to show you how some of these same facets can be used when other communications should fail. So to start with today, I'd like to tell you how I actually got into radio communication. Although, it will not take long at all, because when I was thinking about that question, I actually could not remember a time where I did not have a passion for radio communications. I grew up in the 80s, and I remember how enthused I was when I got my set of two-way walkie-talkies. My dad was a ham. In fact, he is the previous owner of my current call sign in 5BMU. When I got my license, he had to upgrade and get a shorter call. But rules say he can pass it down to a family member, so here we go. Anyways, he let me use his radios all the time. He had several of them in the truck and several more in his ham shack. Now, he was also always about that long-range contact. So besides the radios in the shack, he also had this huge tower going up far above our two-story roof. And on top of that were antennas probably 20, 30 feet long. The one thing I do remember, kind of a funny story now, is that the local television station must have been on a similar frequency as ham radio, because whenever my dad would turn on that high power to get that long range contact, his voice would be on top of whatever television program we happened to be watching. It was kind of funny. So today, me as an adult with my ham license, I still think ham radio is fun, although for a very different reason. I think ham radio is fun because I use it in providing community services. Say you have a cell phone dead area, we can fill in with ham radios. The internet's down, we can use ham radio to send and receive emails. And one of my favorites, it's kind of fun actually, is the ability to transmit live GPS signals through ham radio. This we actually did a couple of times for the Parks and Recreation of Modoc County. They asked us to do communication several years in a row for a bike event fundraiser. And what we would do was we would put our GPS equipment along with a voice communication radio in a truck that would follow the bikers from Cedarville to Alturas. Now, for those of you that don't know the area, it's about a 20 mile ride. And very little of it is actually flat. So, hills and passes constantly along the way. A good challenge for an avid bike rider. Good challenge for ham radio too. Although with the right equipment, not a challenge at all. We were successfully able to communicate between the vehicle that was following the bicycles and where we were monitoring the race back and forth the entire time the event was happening. We were able to communicate such things as cyclists dropping out of the race, the bib numbers to the people running the event. There were things like need more water and snacks for aid stations that were communicated. And flat tires and such things. All the things that you would imagine needed to be communicated, we were able to do. And the nice part is we were able to give, or loan actually, a radio for one of the people running the event to listen to. They couldn't actually talk on it because you have to have a license, but they were able to listen to all the communications going back and forth. So it made them feel like they were more in the loop. Not only that, but the GPS signal that we were transmitting actually gets transmitted into the internet, and that way we can take that GPS signal, overlay it on your standard Google map, and put it on the big screen TV that we had at Net Control. So the people running the event felt like they had a handle on the cyclists. We were able to practice our communication abilities and figure out where the dead spots were with our ham radios. And it made it for a really fun day for everybody involved. So, community service is my favorite part of ham radio. So, if you feel like that you want to be involved in what we're doing, keep in mind, if you have a license or not, it still applies. There's a lot to be done in ham radio, and I'll actually talk about this in a little more in depth in a later video. But with or without a ham radio license, there's much to be done in the ham radio world. So if you have a license, don't have a license, and you want to be involved, feel free to contact me. All my information's up on the page. I am going to try and have a meeting in January. I'm not exactly sure when or where yet, but I'm going to try and make it happen. So I'll post that information up on my page. If you're watching this and you're an agency or know about an agency that might be hosting an event that could benefit from our communication abilities, feel free to contact me as well. Until then, I will see you again, and this is Chad Linden with the World of Ham Radio.